We're counting down 10 national parks in America where ghost stories are backed by real history, documented deaths, unsolved disappearances, and witness accounts spanning generations. From phantom lights over desert landscapes to spectral soldiers still holding their ground on battlefields, each park earned its ranking through tragedy, testimony, and an atmosphere no one can fully explain. Which one claimed the #1 spot? Let's find out, starting at number 10. In the 10th place, Grand Teton National Park is home to the legend of Jenny Lake's shoreline ghost. Longtime ranger oral histories mention a pale, human-like figure standing at the water's edge during twilight or heavy mist. Faint silhouettes captured in Harrison Crandall's photographs from the 1950s are often interpreted as visual evidence of this apparition. These accounts lack named witnesses, official catalog numbers, or documented historical deaths. With a score of 41 out of 100, the story relies on atmosphere rather than hard evidence. Moonlight reflecting on mountain mist, pareidolia, and simple distance-based misidentification explain these sightings. Number 9, Big Bend National Park is known for unexplained activity in the Chisos Mountains backcountry. Nighttime patrol reports from park rangers describe indistinct, shadowy human forms moving through the brush. While the National Park Service Oral History Program preserves these accounts, they lack specific dates, named witnesses, or catalog numbers, preventing independent verification. With a score of 45 out of 100, these sightings are easily explained. Temperature inversions, low light perception, and nocturnal wildlife, like owls or foxes, moving through dry foliage often create the illusion of phantom figures. 8th place, Death Valley National Park features reports of phantom lanterns drifting near Dante's View. After dark, visitors describe distant floating lights hovering above the Black Mountains. This phenomenon is often linked to the regional folklore of abandoned mining towns like Rhyolite, which actually lies 35 miles north outside park boundaries. While 1970s ranger journals note these occurrences, the original logs remain unverified in official archives. Earning a provisional score of 48 out of 100, these visual mysteries are likely caused by temperature gradients distorting distant vehicle headlights, reflecting off the salt flats below. Number 7. Shenandoah National Park is home to legends of soldier apparitions along Skyline Drive. Local descendants recount seeing uniformed figures moving through the heavily wooded terrain bordering the scenic highway. These stories are frequently linked to the park's historic land acquisition records, which document the displacement of entire mountain communities during the park's creation in the 1930s. Yet official archives lack original interviews or precise sighting dates, keeping these accounts unverified. Scoring 50 out of 100, this legend relies on persistent folklore. The park's dense canopy, howling winds, and unusual sound travel often combine to turn natural forest noises into the illusion of phantom voices and shifting shadows. 6th place, Haleakalā National Park is tied to the traditional Hawaiian belief in the Night Marchers, or Huakai Po. These ancestral warrior spirits are said to move in solemn procession after dark, accompanied by the sound of drums and conch shells. Native practitioners describe a protective protocol for travelers encountering the marchers, often involving the Pula Kaha, a prayer for safe passage translating to the prayer of the breath. While the volcanic summit is highly revered, no academic studies or official park records verify specific sightings within these boundaries. Earning a provisional score of 52 out of 100, the tradition remains unconfirmed by administrative logs, surviving as a sacred oral history. Number 5. Great Smoky Mountains. National Park is home to the legend of the Cades Cove white apparition. Within this isolated valley, historic cabins, cemeteries, and the 1887 Primitive Baptist Church evoke the memory of early Appalachian settlers. Visitors frequently report a white-clad figure drifting near these structures, often accompanied by cold spots and disembodied voices. Local historian John McCauley has documented family stories regarding these fleeting shapes. Yet the National Park Service holds no official incident records from named witnesses, leaving the legend to survive on regional tourism blogs and social media. Earning a score of 57 out of 100, these occurrences have a plausible natural explanation. The cove's abundant wetlands produce high-pitched amphibian calls that, when distorted by dense mountain mist, sound remarkably like human crying. Fourth place, Yellowstone National Park's historic Old Faithful Inn, constructed between 1903 and 1904, is the setting for the famous legend of the Headless Bride. Though modern retellings place this tragic honeymoon tale around 1915, no coroner's report, hotel register, or contemporaneous newspaper article supports the claim of a decapitated guest in room 127. Instead, records suggest former bellman George Borneman fabricated the story when pressed by a reporter for local lore. Despite this likely hoax, tourists still report experiencing cold spots, heavy doors mysteriously slamming, and the faint scent of perfume near the crow's nest stairs. Earning a provisional score of 61 out of 100, Yellowstone's legendary specter continues to haunt the timbered hallways of the inn, proving the persistent power of a well-told tourism myth. Third on our list, Olympic National Park is home to the tragic history of Lake Crescent. In December 1937, Hallie Latham Illingworth, a local barmaid, vanished after an argument with her husband, Montgomery. Nearly 3 years later, in July 1940, her wrapped body floated to the surface. The extremely cold, deep waters of Lake Crescent had preserved her remains through saponification, turning her tissue into a soap-like substance. Forensic investigators successfully identified her through dental records, leading to her husband's murder conviction. While a 1992 National Park Service publication titled The Lady of the Lake documents how this real-world event evolved into regional ghost folklore, actual paranormal reports remain sparse. With a provisional score of 70 out of 100, the story relies on a strong historical anchor, even though direct supernatural testimony is less documented. In second place, Alcatraz Island, managed within the Golden Gate National Recreation Area, holds a grim history as a federal penitentiary from 1934 to 1963. The former prison is linked to reports of women's cries, a gray-clad male figure, the faint sound of banjo music, and unexplained metal clanging. Cell 14D, in particular, recurs in visitor and staff accounts of sudden, intense cold and overwhelming discomfort. The National Park Service preserves these reports in the Voices of Alcatraz Oral History collection, which contains recorded interviews with former guards and inmates. However, environmental factors offer clear, physical explanations for these occurrences. The island's exposed location in San Francisco Bay creates strong drafts, while the historic plumbing, old ventilation shafts, and concrete echo chambers naturally generate whistling, sudden chills, and metallic reverberations. Earning a provisional score of 82 out of 100, the island prison represents the most robustly documented penitentiary legend in the federal system. And finally, in first place, Gettysburg National Military Park is home to the country's most persistent battlefield legends. The Battle of Gettysburg, fought from July 1st to July 3rd, 1963, left a massive scar on the terrain, particularly at the boulder-strewn outcrop known as Devil's Den, which saw brutal combat on July 2nd. Shortly after the conflict, a 19th century newspaper article by Emanuel Bushman recorded local reports of unnatural and supernatural sights and sounds near the rocks. Over the years, visitors have described phantom gunfire, shadow figures, and a barefoot Confederate soldier who reportedly tells people to get out before vanishing. Former park ranger Mark Nesbitt documented an account of a lost woman who reported hearing disembodied voices and seeing spectral soldiers in the woods. Earning a provisional score of 90 out of 100, this site has generated the most frequent reports over the decades. While the National Park Service separates documented military history from these paranormal claims, the stories continue to draw curious visitors. Geologists suggest the physical environment offers a natural explanation. The massive granite boulders of Devil's Den naturally echo and redirect sound, turning wind or distant visitors into eerie, echoing illusions. Across these vast landscapes, one truth emerges. The haunts we project onto the wilderness are actually the shadows of real human tragedy, preserved by the isolation of the wild. Nature doesn't just preserve ecosystems, it holds our unresolved history. Tell us your thoughts in the comments.